If you love what we do, then please consider supporting CryptFail on Patreon. Your support helps us grow and to create more content more often. And now, on with the show.
Cipher, got your laptop.
Cool, don't forget the cable.
Is it...
Bag of tricks next to the laptop.
Okay,
Just
should I
bring
just
the
bring
bag.
it all? Okay. Ren will walk back up with everything. Here you go.
Cipher takes the bag and the laptop. She opens up the laptop, fires it up, looks in a bag, pulls out a cable, plugs the phone in, plugs it into the computer. How much was there a freak out on this phone?
Oh, it looked like it was starting to get towards the end of it, but it was just too much for the phone to handle and stay on at the same time. Just
So
a week's worth of about 100 text messages a day.
Alright. So
All
she
happening at once.
Loads up the phone. Oh god, that was a very good roll, was it?
Could be worse.
Could be worse. It wasn't a bad roll.
1 success, 1 advantage. Okay. She fires out the phone. I think this is going to take a few minutes. I'll just let it run its course.
That's fair.
All right.
On the light side of things, you'll have a lot of messages to go through.
Yep. I'm looking forward to seeing
Lambert,
anger
Lambert,
and
Lambert.
the threatening text messages. If you don't come back right now.
She looks up at Terrence. Looks back down at the phone. Lambert.
Yeah, I think that, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got some text from him, Fennyman. He isn't happy. Well, he wasn't happy. I'm sure he's fine now. How's your phone, Cipher? Exploding or no?
I haven't actually turned it on.
I mean, in my case, it wasn't that bad because most of the people who would text me were also unconscious for a week. So... there was that.
She reaches into a bag, pulls out her phone. Battery's dead. Oh, that's
Yep.
right. I'll let Terrence's phone go first. So, what are we doing?
We are stealing a book from a library.
So I guess you want to know the security?
Yeah, or
Be handy.
just anything about the library in general.
How difficult? Oh, the more...
More information
Yes.
you try and gather.
Is this an internet role, Mr. GM? Or computers role? No, it's an internet role. Okay.
So if you get any disadvantages on this, it's Dylan's fault. Taking up the bandwidth.
Yep, Dylan.
Is Dylan taking up the bandwidth?
If you get a disadvantage.
There's just ominous hissing in the distance outside. Dylan!
Eden, heck! Well,
you do have some interesting neighbors.
Not finding much info other than just their website. They're open from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 p.m. in the afternoon, 5 days a week. Saturdays they're open from 10 till 3.
So they're closed now.
For sure.
They wouldn't, like, have fantastic security, would they? They're a library.
They're a national library. They tend to have more precious things there.
Fair.
Let's see if we can find something in the news. Is Dylan still on the Wi-Fi?
I'll go chase him away. Terrence rummages through the cupboards a little bit until he finds a salt box, and then he starts stalking outside.
Oh my god!
You can hear Terrence shouting from outside. Give me a minute, and then I'll tell you when you can try again. Get! Be gone! Steal someone else's Wi-Fi for an hour. And he's like throwing salt at Dylan.
Wow. Jeez, I wonder what news this was in.
Wonder what news?
Okay, I have 2 questions. Mr. GM. Does, like, yelling at Dylan and throwing salt at him make him go away?
Part of me wants to say no. Just because it would be fun.
He's a persistent.
Just to see Terry throwing salt at him and he just stands there, like, looking at other skills. Why is he doing that?
What are you doing?
Exactly. But
What if you threaten to tell Mala on him?
Muzzle top.
But you sort of made that canon before, as unless Terry was being completely delusional. So I will say yes.
Alright. He checks to make sure that he didn't hurt Dylan. I'm gonna roll for that. I'm gonna feel bad if I hurt Dylan.
Salt against bone? What's it gonna do?
It's more like
he's an
salt
undead
against
creature.
Yeah.
Horses will want to lick him.
Yes, that's why he hates it. Because of all the horses that also live
random
nearby
horse
you
running down the
are
way-
going to
running
chase
down the
him
street.
down. You know, all the wild horses in your neighborhood.
Oh my goodness.
He doesn't like to be seasoned.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This would be a sort of attack roll, I guess.
Attack with an improvised weapon.
Is it a restrained attack roll?
Ranged light.
Pretty light salt, yeah, I'd agree.
What in the ever-living heck? How did I succeed? Okay, I burned Dylan's skull a little bit. He's probably gonna tell on me to Mala. So, like, Terrence is watching Dylan shuffle away. He's kind of smoking a little bit. And he kind of grimaces. And he says, sorry, really quietly as he heads back to the house. He's like, okay, you could probably try again now. Dylan stopped siphoning our Wi-Fi.
Alright. Specifically searching just on the book that we're looking for. Just any information. Oh my god.
Holy shit.
Cipher is not doing well.
No. She's too tired.
Yes, she's
D1
like,
C3 is still bitter about the fact that you were offering dice made in food before.
Yep.
well...
The wrong dice
yeah.
bot. How could you
Wrong
confuse
game.
them?
I need to bribe dice bot for Eberron. It's
Well, that's where the bribing began, Eberron, wasn't it? Because it was
Yeah.
Dice Maiden or something. Yeah.
goblins.
Oh,
Fucking
wait.
goblins.
Hang on.
Wait.
I have an idea.
Boss goblins.
Acrobat
have an idea?
goblins.
Acrobatic goblins. Yeah.
Magical.
Alright, so it's a book.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty old.
Yep.
A few hundred years old.
Okay.
And it's not the size of a normal book.
No, he said it was quite like a big book. He did some
Yep.
gesturing. I don't know. I forget.
I forget too.
He said it was like really big, though. And then there was something about a hotel made of monkeys, so it all is a bit of a blur. Yeah, it was a bit of a confusing kind of like job conversation. Battery.
Yeah, battery.
Amazing.
Okay, that's going to be interesting for the next roll.
We'll see, we'll see. Well, for Becca's next roll anyway. Becca's the one who offered.
Oh yeah.
So it's a book, and it's old, and it's quite large. Do we know anything else?
And Cipher's sort of like looking, and she's unplugged Terrence's phone, looks at it, looks up, waits for Terrence to come back in, and hands Terrence back his phone. Okay, so it's on loan from the country of Occultenstein in Europe.
A Kaltenstein? Huh. Sounds appropriate.
Oh yes, so that's right. They were talking about troll heritage and shit.
Oh, yes, I do
Shite.
remember.
Yep, and that's
You
who wanted
just said
it.
in
Some
Europe.
trolling.
Where in Europe?
Occultenstein.
Is that a place?
It's like a tiny little
That's-
country in Europe.
It's a country in Europe, apparently. Occultenstein. Do I need to do a search for Occultenstein? Yep. And Cipher points at Wren. You're
Eh?
correct.
Yes.
That dates back to the 1200s.
Yeah, it's just one of those like
So-
tiny little countries everybody forgets about, but it's on your geography test and you have to know. So,
Interesting that you would know that.
like I said,
I
it's on
find you
geography
even more
test.
fascinating every day, Wren.
Okay.
You need to
I
come
have-
over more often.
I have a quick question. Emily, is that just Emily knowledge or is that Wren knowledge?
It's not a real country, so that's Wren knowledge.
Okay. I didn't know. I was starting to be like, wait.
That's Wren saying she's had to learn it for a geography test. I mean,
And
I
Wren
guess
was
I can.
correct.
I guess I can come over more often now that there is a house. Okay, sure. I can
a
come
kitten
over
to
more
play with.
often if I ever come back, because it'll be more than the one time I've visited really so far.
So the current ruler of Occultenstein is a troll. Would you fancy
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Well, isn't that why the book, it ties to the whole, like, the heritage and the history of trolls, and that's why it's of interest to whoever it's of interest to?
Yep. Well, for an
I've-
easy $5,000 each, it's just a matter of pension grab and
Sorry I didn't go with that, then. I mean, hopefully...
I can't find anything to do with security or anything, but one could assume that it might be on a pedestal behind a rope, and at the very minimum.
Aren't
With a
these
sign
things
that
usually
says,
more like behind glass?
"Do not pass."
Do not pass.
No touching.
If it's that important, I feel like they'd maybe make it a little harder to just grab.
So they might have it in a glass box.
Yeah, like a locked case or something. That's fine. Locks are fine. My worry's more if it's alarmed or something like that. My other worry is less... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nope. Go ahead.
No, I insist.
Nope. I insist.
Gee.
And
Terrence
this is the
is
rest
just
of the
sitting at the
episode.
counter, and he's just like, ugh. He's made some tea. There's a teapot and some mugs. He's the only one who's been drinking it, and he's just drinking his tea. Scrolling through the messages that he got from Lambert.
Oh, what is it, Cipher?
Yes, Wren. What did you want?
What? You were saying something.
Yes, you were saying something, Wren.
Ugh. Cipher, all I was saying was, last time they said it was an easy job, it wasn't, so I hope that doesn't happen again. That was the very important thing I was saying. Now, what were you saying? Because it's probably better.
Do I need to bring my shotgun?
I don't know. Don't shoot anyone.
That's for scaring.
Yeah, for scaring us that you're gonna shoot someone.
I have training?
Oh, do you?
Jeepers, woman.
I'll add that to your list of expertise, then. Shotgun trained. Cipher, the tech and shotgun expert.
Well, it's not specifically shotgun trained, but I've been taught how to, at least handle a firearm or two.
Well,
We live in America. I mean,
so I don't have a gun.
and I don't break into places.
Yeah, but I never said I break into places. We live in America. So it's a bit different.
Well, actually, technically speaking, I do break into places. They're just
Yeah, you broke into
online.
this specific house, actually.
Don't
In
try
fairness-
and deny it, girly. You very, very obviously broke multiple windows.
It was just one window.
Was
I remember more than one.
Nope, one window.
One too many.
That was just the big one out the back.
It was in the front.
Yes, so if you broke a window in the back, that's definitely two. Alright, Terry,
it?
should she bring
Yeah.
a shotgun? It was in the front. Because we saw it when we got to the house.
Yep. And the door was wide open.
It was. This is recorded.
Oh,
We can
that's right.
prove it.
I don't remember her being in the front, but
Should she bring a shotgun?
Oh. As long as you keep it in the bag, unless you absolutely need it to protect yourself or us.
alright, I'll bring the laptop with me, card in case we need to break any electronic locks.
Good.
Wait, what? How did you guys get here?
Terry drove.
Really? She looks bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and she runs out to the front door.
Terrence raises an eyebrow and turns to look.
She opens the door. She's like, closes the door, walks back into the kitchen. she's got her mouth half open, like she wants to ask something, and she's sort of jumping up and down a little bit, but not. And then she stops, as if remembering something, slumps, and then sits down on the stool back at the table again.
That was a very quick mood swing, Cipher.
Terrence has had one eyebrow up this entire time, and he's like, what did you want to say?
You know, it could go a bit faster if it had a computer system installed.
Why do we need it to go faster?
I mean, you would set it up so that you could set it, hook up some nitro. You could have some automated steering, so you could set it into, autopilot mode. That way you could lean out the window and shoot guns. Bam, bam, pow, 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 pow.
Only you have a gun, Cipher.
You want to turn my car into a self-driving rocket.
I'd like to point out, Cipher, that none of us have any money. So even if Terry would agree to do that, you couldn't get any of the stuff you want to add to the car.
I can dream.
Yes, you can, and you should. More often, sleep and have... No, maybe don't dream, actually. Just sleep.
Good dreams.
Good dreams. Have those. Dream about your cat. Dream about, I guess, Terry's car being a rocket of guns.
A rocket of guns.
It's not like it's going to be like a mobile gun platform or anything. But I mean,
would you
like
like
we could be on
that?
the job instead of ringing up George and saying, "Hey, George, we're needing some." I mean, you could just press a button and then the car would just come and just say, the car would be like, "Sup, I'm here to pick you up."
Why
Okay,
would the car say
so
that?
let me restate what I think you want the car to be. You want the Batmobile.
Did that say sup?
What's a Batmobile?
I mean,
Is this another movie I'm going to have to watch?
Yeah, I guess so.
you could read the comics. I have the comics. And Terrence is like gesturing hopelessly at a bunch of boxes in the corner.
Somewhere you have them. I didn't find those. Sorry.
So, is the Impala our getaway vehicle?
I don't see why not. We have a garage we can put it in so people don't see it. Though it has been hanging out there for at least 7 or 8 hours now. So
Yeah, it's pretty recognizable, so is it a good getaway vehicle?
Terrence is just like staring towards the front of the house forlornly. He's like, I really love that car though.
I'm not saying you shouldn't have the car. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. The best
His eyes
getaway
get really
vehicle-
His eyes get really big suddenly, and he looks over at Cipher, and then he grins really big, and he says, well, if you want to do some kind of electronic modification, do you think you could set up some, like, reflective mirrors to give it the appearance of not being there at all?
That would be
Invisibility field?
cool. Huh.
Is that even possible? He stops looking excited and starts looking confused.
Cipher's got the biggest, almost greediest grin on her face. And she's like, her eyes are just like darting side to side and looking up. And she's like looking around, and then she looks at a laptop. And then she's looking in another part of the room. And she's like, you know?
No.
Terrence.
Maybe
know
not with
what?
technology, but definitely with magic.
You could magic the
I've been
car.
reading up on it.
Oh, Cipher,
The
you want to
spells,
magic
illusion?
the car. Is everyone gonna start doing magic?
I would
I
love
mean,
to
obviously
magic the
not
car.
me, but yeah, Cipher's magic, huh?
I could change it into a little bumblebee.
Why would we
Oh,
want
why-
it to be a bumblebee, Cipher?
Terrence goes from looking like curious to looking absolutely panicked. No. We're not turning the car into a bee.
Why would we want it to be a bee? Cipher?
I mean, I'm
You sure? The bees are the, no one's just going to second look at bee.
Well, I mean, there are many things you could do to the car that would make it less conspicuous that don't involve turning it into a bee. Like, if you could do illusion magic on the car and make it look like another type of car, that sounds more reasonable, I think.
The bee is a car.
Oh. Look, I don't know anything about cars, Cipher. I thought you just wanted to turn it into, like, a little insect.
To be fair, a bee isn't particularly inconspicuous either.
Which kind?
It's very noticeable.
The insect or the car?
The car.
Okay, well, again, I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
I mean, given the size of it, that might be a little bit difficult. But I mean, what about something like a Chrysler 300?
I haven't heard of that, which means it's probably not that common.
It's a beater.
Huh.
It's a very old beater. We can make it look like a taxi.
That could work.
Or a tank?
Or a
That could not work. Nope, not that one.
Yeah,
Everybody
you're right.
would
Bit
notice a
obvious.
tank.
Or a cop car.
Alright, hang
Cop
on.
car would be pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's not a bad idea.
And then if we needed to get somewhere really quick, we could... Rear.
Well, it would be an illusion, so...
Although,
Yeah, I don't know if it
know
could actually do the flashing lights and the...
We'd have to, lean out the window, yelling.
I don't think that would work, Cipher.
I mean,
don't think so.
my bottled illusions can create noise, but I don't want to throw a glass bottle at the car every time I want it to look like something else.
Yeah.
You don't
Well-
need to.
Are we
Huh?
doing this now? Or is this a
It's in
hypothetical?
the books.
It's in the books.
Alright,
I'm really into these magic
Terrence.
books.
Terrence has got...
You got chalk.
He's steepling his fingers under his chin, and he's like, I'm getting the very strange and alarming feeling that you're going to end up teaching me magic, and I don't know how to feel about that.
Teach her something about a computer and then you'll feel better.
I'm confused.
Me too.
You've been reading Mala's library, which means you're very rapidly getting to the point where you're going to know more about magic than I do.
No, Terrence, that's a lie. You always know more about magic than me. Which reminds me,
Yes?
I've actually made it so that... Oh, no, I can't tell you.
Okay. Well,
Nope.
in that case, I restate my
That's a surprise.
question. Are we magicking the car now, or is it a hypothetical?
Yeah, let's get this done before Christmas.
Alright, but right now, are we going to drive to a library in this car, or do we need to make it look like a bee or whatever?
I'm
I
going
think
to
we
move it
should-
into the garage and attempt to illusion it
Catch
into
a
something
taxi.
else. And
Okay.
Terrence gets up and he goes outside to go move the car into the garage. And then once
There's a
he's
book on that, and Cipher heads down to the basement to get a book.
all right, Terrence will wait in the garage for everybody to assemble again.
Well, Cipher heads out to the garage.
Eh,
Like, are we leaving now?
Oh, we're gonna do the illusion now. and then we're probably gonna leave right after.
Okay. Are we locking the front door?
Yes, lock your door. I can't lock your door.
Oh,
I don't have a
sorry.
key.
I'll take me backpack.
Okay, hang on.
grab
I
me
gotta ask
laptop.
God a question.
Oh,
Terrence
no.
raises his hand and he kind of flicks it in the direction of the door. And he stands like that for a second. And then he brings his hand back and he stares at it. And then he just kind of looks irritated at himself. And he pulls his keys out of his pocket and he goes to the front door to lock it.
At the front door?
Yeah.
Cipher's looking at Terrence, looking back at the door, looking at what Terrence is doing, and going, Terrence, are you trying to like the magical barrier?
I was trying to lock the door.
You know, like that guy did, the dead guy?
The dead guy?
Yeah, the dead guy. He did that with his door. Remember?
Our previous employer.
I don't know, technically... he never paid us. I guess he employed us, but he didn't pay us.
Yeah.
Not his fault, I guess.
Do you want me to have a go, Terrence?
What?
You're gonna try and close the door with magic?
Terrence's eyes get kind of big, and he looks at Cipher, and he's like, "You can do magic?"
Well, the books I've been reading, says to do things, and it's no different than creating constructs, really, in a virtual, except in a virtual element, nothing's really real, but you can I guess transpose that into a reality, a real environment. It's more about bringing the elements together.
You're trying to explain magic with computers, which means presumably you know what you're talking about. Terry might know about half of it, and I get absolutely nothing.
So let's say, per se, I wanted to create a fireball in the virtual environment. It's just code, which brings together particle effects, which has a framework, and then you cast it forward.
Terrence blinks and he says, "Okay, maybe, but if you cast a fireball in real life, the likelihood that you'll burn down the house is fairly high."
But
Yes.
it's the same thing. It's pulling particles from the air, igniting it, and boom.
Well,
Okay.
it's fine to know the theory, but don't do that in your house.
If you want to try to lock the door, go for it. Terrence is smiling a little bit. It's not malicious or I don't think you could do it. He looks encouraging. He genuinely wants to see Cipher do some magic.
I'm just wondering how she's going to do it. Huh? That's right. Okay. Sorry. Disturbance at home. She looks into the book, reads a few pages, scans over it, closes it, looks up. Looks like she draws some symbols in the air. And the lock, you hear it go clunk, but nothing actually happens.
Wait, did it work?
Terrence is smiling really big, and he's like, "You could do magic. That's so cool."
Cipher walks up to the door and opens it.
He's still
Hey,
smiling really big.
Hey, you did something. We all heard it.
That's
I don't,
awesome, Cipher.
it's just I've been reading so many books. And she's like squinting, and looks like she's trying to refresh her face. Yeah, it's pretty cool, but that's not computers.
Well, yeah? I mean, I guess you could say that of anything that's not a computer. Congrats on the doing magic now. It's good.
Probably in part, I'd have to say Marla. I wouldn't have been able to do it without her.
Well, if you ever want to practice stuff, I'm here too, you know.
I thought you were I thought you were scared of Mala.
Very. But she's kind of nice too,
Yeah.
in a wraithy way.
So you're terrified of her, but she's nice. All right.
I think that would be a very high compliment for Mala. She likes being told she's scary sometimes. Anyway, you want to come help me disguise the car?
Okay.
Terrence closes the front door again and locks it, and he heads back towards the garage.
Cipher pulls out a stick of chalk.
Oh, you're carrying around chalk now, too?
Well,
You'll have to get different colors so you don't grab each other's chalk by mistake and mix it up and, I don't know, would it matter? You can use pink chalk, Cipher. That sounds like the kind of thing you'd do.
sure.
I don't mind sharing my chalk, Terrence is shaking his head. Also, all I've got in my bag are a bunch of mostly used up nubs of it anyway.
Oh, well, Marla gave me this one.
Terrence just nods. He's been smiling this whole time. He hasn't stopped.
Well, you do realize, Terrence, that the way that I do things might be a little bit different than the way that you do things, because I'm just reading it and inputting it into a program. It's not like I'm a proficient master or anything. This is...
Terrence kind of tilts his head and he says, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not exactly a master either. And everybody associates their magic differently. Your
Hey, you
magic
can both-
will be very personal to you.
Very computery, it sounds like.
Well, I'd rather be doing it in the virtual
Huh.
in the virtual world.
Well, it's a good place to practice. Can't burn down the house that way.
Good point.
Cipher raises up her finger a bit like she's about to say something and then withdraws.
Well, you may not be a proficient master of magic, but you can both do 100% more magic than I can, if that makes you feel any better, Cipher.
Not overly.
Not? Oh, sorry then. I could lie and say I could do magic if that would make you feel better.
Not
I can do so
overly.
much magic. All of it. I know it all.
You're both making a big deal out of something that's not a big deal.
It's cool. We're just telling you it's cool. That's all.
Terrence can stay with the magic. And
Well, I don't think he was gonna stop doing it.
Cipher's looking a bit shameful now.
Why? Cipher.
Cipher, you did something cool, and we told you it was cool. I'm sorry that we told you the truth. Should we lie to you from now on?
Terrence puts his hand on her shoulder and he says, just because you can do magic doesn't mean your thing is gonna stop being computers and technology. And it doesn't mean my thing is gonna stop being magic. I mean...
She got both her hands in her... Her face is in her hands at the moment. She's just like... rubbing up and down.
You didn't hear
Is
it
she just
because
embarrassed because we said she did a good job?
What? Terrence looks confused because he was in the middle of telling her something that she hadn't heard. And he's like, no way.
No?
We tell her she's impressive with her computer stuff all the time.
Yeah, but this is something new. She knows she's good at computers.
I don't know. I don't know what to do now.
Like specifically right at this moment? I think you were gonna help try and disguise this car.
Any of it.
Any of it? Okay.
Oh,
I can make
she's
you
like
a list.
pulling at her hair.
I can make you a list. Right now, help with the car. Then, we go and try and steal a book. Hopefully we do that, we get paid, then you go to sleep. There we go. That's what you do.
Okay.
Alright. It's a plan.
Terrence is like... Terence's phone goes off. He looks at it and he chuckles, and then he goes back to looking at Cipher. Sorry, go ahead.
I've only done this in the virtual.
Okay.
Well, you just did something in the physical, and even if you just jiggled the lock, that's very impressive for a newbie. Newbie.
What?
Cipher.
Cipher, what are you talking about?
What's the floor in the garage?
Concrete.
Oh, okay.
What should it be?
Concrete.
Okay.
Because you can't draw chalk on dirt.
True.
It's Jello.
It's Jello!
It's Jello now.
There isn't actually a floor. It's just empty
Cipher's
space.
licking the floor.
Ew, no.
Garage.
The car is sinking.
Just wait for it to
Jello.
spare.
Despair. Right. Cipher's magic turned the floor into Jello.
Alright, Cipher, what do you suggest for this particular spell? And Terrence is like rubbing his hands together.
She's looking completely confused.
Well, you said you had an idea, something you read in one of the books. The book you brought with you, I assume.
Yeah. To, like, change the appearance of an orange into, like, an apple.
So, well, don't
Well,
make the car
it's-
look like an apple.
The same idea, but you add a few extra symbols. And Terrence pulls out some of his own chalk, which is quite a bit shorter than Cipher's, and he starts drawing around the car. And he starts with the basic symbol, probably one that is at least similar to one that Cipher saw in the book. and then he starts pointedly adding other symbols and telling her what they are. Like, there's one to make sure the illusion of the car extends a couple millimeters away from the actual car itself. One to bend light, that sort of thing.
Cipher's listening and watching and taking notes. Well, she's not writing down notes per se, but it looks like she's
absorbing it.
Yeah.
All right, and he finishes, and he's like, and then you have your access point here, and he stands at the main point of the circle, and he's like, this part is you just pick a stance that is your. This is mine, for example, and he holds out his one arm, and he's got his other arm in front of him. People have different stances. It's just whatever makes you feel like you can release the energy best and in the most controlled format. And he activates the circle. To make the car look like a beater.
A what?
Like an older car that's kind of beat up.
Oh, a beat up car.
Yeah.
Not a car that will attack you.
A beater.
and the chalk puffs up in a cloud around the car, and then it kind of like dissolves around a car that looks completely different. It's like a black car with rust around the rims, and it looks older and like barely functions.
Cipher looks amazed. Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do it on something so big.
The size of the illusion doesn't matter so much when you have something to attach it to. If you're trying to make an illusion out of nothing, it's a little bit harder.
It sounds too much like math.
Terrence turns over to Wren and he's like, actually, there's a lot of math involved, especially geometry. If you get those lines wrong, oh boy.
No wonder I don't do magic. Math.
It's like, it's not that hard. I mean...
Speak for yourself.
I think Cipher would be good at it. She might have to use a ruler for a little bit to make sure she's drawing the lines straight, but...
I have enough trouble with the math of balancing my budgets and all that, so I'm not gonna take up any additional.
Like, yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure, Terry.
Cipher,
Terrence
you can
looks
do it.
at her, and he says, he smiles, and
truth-
he puts his hand on her shoulder, and he says, you don't have to if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm. If you want to, then you can. If you don't want to, then don't. Nobody will make you.
And it won't make me any less proud of what you've accomplished already.
It's up to you. Live your life how you want, except for the not eating and sleeping bit. I will bother you about that forever.
Well, the truth be told, when Marla said the library might help And Cipher's like looking down. She's like kicking the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of came across some stuff in the books that I thought could help with maybe my situation. It's just like really struggling to say this.
Okay.
How so?
Well, you know how you can curse people?
Terrence immediately looks extremely worried. Yes.
I've been more focused in looking at the sleep side of things.
The sleep side of... Do you want to, like, curse yourself to sleep or something?
Do you
Cipher's not...
think you've been cursed?
She closes her eyes. No, I haven't been cursed, but to get the sleep that I need, I've been looking at cursing myself to sleep.
That... I don't know magic, but that sounds probably bad.
Terrence
Terry?
shakes his head a little bit and he says, Cipher, that is incredibly dangerous and it wouldn't be good sleep. It wouldn't be anything that would be beneficial to you at all. It would hurt you far more than it could ever help you. I can work on a sleeping drought for you in my potions if you like, but please don't try cursing yourself, okay?
Okay. I just thought it would help.
Terrence gives her a quick hug.
We can find other things that will help, but don't do that.
On the plus side, Wren, and she's looking over at Wren, if you need an instant nap, I'm quite happy to put you to sleep.
I have the feeling you're going to use that as a threat, but...
That wasn't a threat. She's like got to put her hands up in the air. I promise.
Wren's teasing her.
Terrence is just
Yeah, I can see it now. Next time we argue, you're just going to send me right to sleep.
I would never do that, Wren.
I know. Probably.
Terrence is like, all right, ladies, in the car.
Okay.
Let's get this job done.
Who's sitting where?
Cipher's sitting in the back left seat.
Ren's gonna sit in the back with Cipher.
All right.
Woohoo!
Terrence is going to get into the driver's seat and go,
I hope he is.
all by myself.
Well, Terrence, in fairness, if you let me plug in a computer into this thing, we could, set up auto navigation. You could sit in the back seat with us. Or you can actually drive from the back seat if you really wanted to. I mean,
I'm just imagining driving by people and they look in and it's just 3 people sitting in the back and nobody driving.
Of a deadbeat car.
Yeah.
Terrence is just briefly looking up how to get to the library, and then he puts his phone down on the passenger seat and, he goes. And then he stops in the driveway after, and he gets out of the car to close the garage.
Oh.
Because it probably doesn't have a button, and then when he gets back in the car, he's like, we should get a button for the garage at least.
Cipher's eyes widen.
Please, don't do anything too crazy with it, but I'll let that be your project, okay?
Yeah, it just needs to open the door. It doesn't need to have any guns, and it doesn't need to explode or anything. Just
Please
open the
don't
door.
booby trap the garage. I would
I
almost.
heard that you would think I would add guns to a garage door.
Okay, what would you add?
Mines.
Cipher, what would you add?
Well, it certainly wouldn't be like electrified or
No. Don't tell me what it wouldn't
no
be. Tell me what it would be.
electrification. Just a normal opening closing door.
I'll believe that when I see it.
It's gonna look like the maw of a dragon or something.
Oh, I thought we wanted inconspicuous.
Our house doesn't have to be inconspicuous.
It does if you don't like if people see you going back to it.
Well, that's the thing. We have to lose any tails before we come back to it, because regardless of whether or not the house is conspicuous, if somebody sees us going there, it's bad news.
Yeah, nobody should ever see you going to your house. That is the correct way of things.
Alright.
Does the garage have to stay above ground?
Do you know a way to make it be underground, Cipher?
I'm gonna have
you
to learn
going to-
construction
going to
magic,
dig?
aren't I?
I don't know if the zoning is in place for that, Cipher.
Well, I don't know if I'll be asking for council permission, but
They might notice if you start digging.
I mean, I would really rather not accidentally cut into a sewer line.
They'd notice that too.
Cipher's pulling out her laptop.
Checking the zoning
Looking up
for
the sewer plans and the zoning permissions for the house that they rent.
Alright. And Terrence pulls into a lot of a I'm gonna say it's probably a 24-hour coffee shop that's kind of close by to where the library is, but not too close. And he tries to park in the shadowy part away from where people would normally take any kind of notice.
Okay.
Are we getting coffee before we go in?
I would suggest against it.
I think we're just walking from here, Cipher.
Oh, okay.
Can get you coffee after, probably.
Cipher gets out of the back.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure that would be a good idea either, but
Decaf?
I mean on the scale of people seeing us.
I didn't mean here.
Ah, that's fair. And Terrence gets out of the car, and then he gets back into the car, and he's like, okay, so how are we doing this?
Good question.
Well, first we've got to get out of the car.
But we could talk about what
Which
we're doing
you just
before
got
we
back
get
into.
out of the car, Cipher.
But I'm out of the car and you guys are in the car.
You got
How
out of
were
the
you
car.
out of-
When did you get out of the car?
How did you get out of the car? Terry has to move the seat.
Oh. That's a two.
Cipher
Did you
has
not make it a
Cipher
four-door
has-
illusion?
Even if it was a
the illusion
four-door
wouldn't
illusion.
change. It wouldn't change the actual number of doors. Cipher has materialized outside. No, you're not.
Cypher's
You're
just rolled
you're
out the
not
window.
outside of the car, Cipher. You're right next to me, and I can see you.
Also, you can't roll down the rear windows. You can't.
So Cipher
so why
is
Cypher
in
sitting
the back
if
seat.
she can't get it?
I don't know. Cipher decided to sit in the back.
Yeah. Okay. She's feeling awfully claustrophobic sitting here in the back.
Spontaneously. Oh, sudden. I feel closed
Oh,
in.
I didn't know I couldn't get out, says Cipher.
I mean, you can push the passenger side seat up and get out that way. If you
Or
really
you could just
wanted
try and
to.
climb between the two front
Yep.
seats.
You could do that as well.
No.
No.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, so Cipher's in the back seat.
Cypher's still in the backseat. On the backseat. Not literally in it. Sitting there. Kicking the front seat.
Kicking the front seat. Terrence is giving her like a dark look. Like a stop that right now kind of look.
Oh. As if Cipher just realized what she was doing.
Like, if you have to kick something, just, like, kick my feet or something like that.
Alright, if you want to talk shop on the way there, that's fine, but we should at least decide at which angle we're approaching the building before we get out of the car.
Would be good.
I don't know where it is in the building, so...
Oh, right, that's fair. Hey, can you
I mean,
access
it's-
the Wi-Fi of the coffee shop from here?
Nope, but I got a range extender, which will get me that far.
Alright.
What do you want me to look for?
Layout of the library, if you can find it.
See if,
Well, I couldn't find it before.
see if you can find a directory for the books. Like, when you go to libraries and there's that computer and it tells you where to find the book.
But
This-
wouldn't they have it on display?
Yeah,
They
this
wouldn't
one's
have it
on
in,
display.
Like, ILB
Yeah,
section
so
38.
the directory should tell you where the display is, yes?
You know, Jake told you.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
I didn't
We
write
were
it
all so
down.
distracted by Jake.
By Jake's.
By Jake being Jake. Yep.
Yep. Where did he tell
It's
us?
in the main display room. Like there's one, like an area that's held for exhibits.
Ah.
So, what happened to you? I was Jake.
It was Jake. Yeah, it's
It's like that candid camera. Except
punked,
It's just-
but jaked.
punk. Yeah.
It's in that big room
Okay,
they
so-
keep all their, like, exhibit stuff in.
So he told you there's definitely security. It's in a glass case. The case is definitely going to be alarmed,
Uh-huh.
possibly physical. Doesn't think spiritual like magic, but
But don't cross it off the list of things to check
Yeah.
for.
Cipher, how good are you at disarming alarms?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Like, depends on the alarm. I mean,
Well, yeah.
cheapers. If this thing's a multi-million-dollar thing, then they're gonna have some pretty top-notch alarms on there. But if they're like, this thing's a dime a dozen.
Yeah, probably.
Obviously, it's a one-in-a-lifetime sort of book. So, I dare say they got something decent.
Yeah.
Motion sensors with some, like, they could even have some heat sensors in there.
Yeah.
Although the heat sensors, I guess in a city like this, the temperature changes up and down. It's pretty cold at the moment, so any warm,
Oh,
handy hands.
let's see about breaking in and getting past any security who's lurking around before we get too in depth of the what could be's.
Sounds good.
She closes her laptop.
You want to find
And
a
I
service
assume-
store?
Yeah, I assume we don't want to waltz in the front doors.
Oh, do I want to find the server stores?
Does anyone?
Yes, please.
guess. I mean, if you can
And
look it
I-
up, then go for it.
Oh.
Otherwise, I guess we'll just walk around the building.
Coffee shop Wi-Fi
Okay.
is best Wi-Fi.
It's better than your
Okay.
house Wi-Fi.
That's because
There's no Dylan. Yeah.
Dylan isn't
No
siphoning
Dylan.
the
That's-
bandwidth.
I got 2 server stores where they got one in a garage that's off the main part of the building, and they got a double one at the back.
Any idea which is closer to the room we want to get to?
No idea.
Okay.
I like the garage idea though.
Yeah.
Sure.
Would that be more complicated?
Probably less complicated.
Oh, okay. Less complicated is good.
Let's go.
Well, that's... Cipher, now you can get out of the car.
Yep. Cool. I'm free.
Oh, goodness.
She starts skipping down the street.
Shadowrun, a slice of life adventure in a dystopian future, starring Becca as Terry the Mage, RavenInsane as Cipher the Hacker, Emily as Wren the Thief, and Ghost as the GM. The excellent Shadowrun is produced by Catalyst Game Labs. The Genesys rule set comes from Fantasy Flight Games, and many of the sounds and music comes from Sirenscape, which is an amazing tool for bringing more life to your game table. This has been a Crit Fail production.